You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. Man, I sure hope that nothing wild happened in the last 24 hours, because that would be awkward, right? Mouselander, welcome. Quad Bennett, welcome. The oligarchy era is here. Oh yeah, yeah, no kidding. Michael Hasser, welcome. Derry Bennett, Proud Boys pardoned by Trump, so now, so what are they gonna do to us now? Fascist gonna fash. B-boys, nope. No Roman salutes. Yeah, just a regular, completely non-eventful inauguration day, that happened yesterday. Let me get this, cat ruler out of the way. Just a completely normal innocuous inauguration. Oh my god, it's a mouse. Is that you, Mouselander? Yeah, just a regular day. Yeah, it's my old. Okay. Yeah, Muscovite. Man, so much to talk about, folks. I don't even know where to start, folks. I'm going to be honest. The situation is pretty it's pretty screwed, in my assessment, and it doesn't look like things are going to get better. I mean, like, I think that the best that we can kind of take away from all this is that maybe the incompetence of all these clowns make it so that the worst ends don't end up happening. I don't know. We're for lack of a better more for a lack of a better more PG version of describing it, we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Okay, we are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. There's no really other way of saying it without without some curse words. So sorry. Yeah, screwed is a very nice way to put it. I mean, it's here. Yeah, fascism is here. Correct. So first things first, let's just address the thing that we all saw yesterday. Elon Musk did a Roman salute, which is the which was adopted by the fascist in Italy, and then adopted by the Nazis, the fascist in Germany. So don't let anybody gaslight you to say that this is nothing else than a Roman salute. It's a Sieg Heil. It's a Sieg Heil. That's it. This was there's no other explanation for it. He did it twice, and I mean, like, it's just, we all saw what we saw. It was totally blazed on Molly. So, and no, Elon Musk is not autistic. I mean, like, I don't know, but even if he was, that doesn't excuse what we saw, right? Like that does not excuse what we saw. Like that's um being neurodivergent in any capacity um does not make you a Nazi, right? Like so this is like this is besides that point. All right, folks, let's get started. Lots of stuff to cover. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate you guys hanging out here. And if you want to support the channel, there are many different ways. Join the Discord, folks. That's very important. Consider subscribing to the Substack. It's free, and a new article should be coming out today. Or tomorrow. I'm not sure. Most we'll see. But I'm pretty much done. So it'll be coming out either today or tomorrow. So consider joining the Substack. It's completely free. Check out the merch store by hitting !merch and the tip feature !tip. So the richest man in the world can pay for a medical diagnosis. Yeah, I mean, like it's quite possible that you may be right. I'm just saying that it's besides the point. Like, let's just say even if you did have a diagnosis, everything was confirmed. Being neurodivergent in any way, in any capacity, it does not make you a Nazi. So yeah. I mean, like we talked about this with Kanye West, right? Like Kanye having bipolar or whatever else he has does not excuse or explain the Nazism, right? It's the same thing. It does not matter. Cognizant, welcome. Dr. X, notice you just said that to excuse how terrible on SNL. He's a drug. I'm gonna fill in the word pathological liar. Welcome, Cognizant. Yeah, I mean, again, I it's possible. I just don't. It's possible. I just don't know. I would just say that it doesn't really matter. For our intents and purposes, it does not matter. All right, folks, we got a lot of ground to cover, so let's start. I'm vindicated. Elon rigged the swing state elections. Trump admitted it. I saw something like that on floating around. I didn't get around to watching it. It was like it was part of like a press conference, or he was talking to reporters. Was that it? I mean, like we could I can take a look at that at a later point. But yeah, I mean, I think I saw something like that floating around. I can't remember if it was a press conference or if he was just like talking to reporters at his desk when he was signing all those executive orders. I can't remember. Echo Resto Dragon, welcome. I'm here for a few minutes. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. All right, folks, let's get started because we got ground to cover. Part of his actual speech. Okay, gotcha. Like the inauguration speech, because I never watched it. I wasn't gonna watch that crap. I was not gonna watch that crap. Nice, love the tie. Thank you, appreciate it. This is my old tie. It's been with me for quite a while, and I finally got it back. I finally got it back, and I like it. right, folks, let's get started. We'll see how much we can cover from here. But I suppose we'll start on this one.
Well, Donald Trump was just sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, and as you can tell, I'm thrilled. But people who are unironically happy about this are the wealthiest Americans who are about to get a lot richer. In fact, they were there at his inauguration this morning to celebrate the dawn of this new hyper-plutocratic era in American politics. And the men in this photograph are worth a combined $886 billion. In fact, one of them is poised to become the world's first trillionaire. Now, the way that they're going to enrich themselves is by sucking all of us dry. But to demonstrate this, I want to go back to a couple of days before the inauguration because Trump decided to launch a meme coin, which is an obvious scam created to steal even more money from his...
Yeah, it's a rug pull, like most coins are. It's just your classic pump and dump scheme. My comment on a page I follow got deleted. It was one about Elon, and now I can't find the page. Too bad, so sad. Yikes. Both Elon and Theo claim neurodivergence.
Own supporters, and to say it's a scam really would be an understatement. I mean, Trump, look, let's just put it this way. Hak Tua walked so President Trump could run, and the reactions to this by the people who he scammed are priceless, and we're going to get to that. But first, here's a breakdown of the Trump coin from YouTuber Voidzilla, who explains why this is such a brazen scam.
80%.
Just to be clear, Voidzilla is, I think, is the rebrand or alt name for CoffeeZilla. I don't know if it's the same channel, but or maybe if this is like a related channel. Because I'm sorry, I don't know. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Voidzilla is CoffeeZilla, who's pretty adept at debunking all this crypto nonsense. So yeah.
Is owned by the Trump camp. Only 20% goes to the public. 10% went to the liquidity pool, and 10% went to the public allocation. Here's the rest of it. This is their website, gettrumpmemes.com. And yes, I've thought at first this was a hack. I was like, there's no way this could be true. CIC Digital is fully owned by the Donald Trump Revocable Trust. So it's kind of unclear exactly, like, is he getting paid a licensing deal for this? Is he just one of the guys? It's not that clear. But let's just break down, because I think that's kind of intentional that it's not that clear. Here's the creators. Here's the allocation. So there's 6 groups who are getting the rest of the 80%, and they're all labeled very obscurely. Like, it's just, creators in CIC Digital.
I think it's to boost Trump's ego, not a pump and dump. Trump can't stand it. They're all richer than him. I mean, maybe, because it's hard to say because Trump is not one to give up a good con, and also it is true that Trump does have a massive ego, because he is a raging narcissist. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry, I'm autistic. No excuse for Elon. Right. Exactly. Like being autistic or not, I think is secondary because like even if it's true that Elon is autistic, then it really doesn't matter, right? Like him being autistic would not excuse the Nazi shit, right? Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. I'm still not convinced that Trump is really a billionaire. I mean, maybe a billionaire on paper, I guess. I don't know. Agave Poet, welcome. Confirmed, I'm autistic, not a Nazi. There you go.
1. CIC Digital 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. That's all the description we get, at least on this page. And you can see that they're not locked up at the start. They have a 3 to 12 month lockup duration, depending on the group. And basically, they unlock over 24 months. That's the punchline. So over 3 years, all of this will be unlocked. This token will be diluted by the rest of that.
Heat, welcome. How's it going? You can be an ass whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent. Exactly.
80%. What I think is so cynical about this is that it's going to fully vest during the presidency. So it's like there's no way that they're not going to get millions of dollars out of this. They're going to extract so much value from the Trump base and degens, of course, but it's insane. It's like going to be the historic grift.
Indeed. It's such an obvious scam that it's incomprehensible that anyone would be stupid enough to fall for it. But
Yeah, and like it's also incomprehensible how still none of this is illegal, by the way. Because if you do it in the regular stock market, if you tried to do a pump and dump, you will be arrested if you do that in the normal stock market. Okay, but because crypto is highly unregulated, this is a frequent occurrence apparently.
in America, anything really is possible, my friends. Now, just to put it into perspective, how much of a boon this has already been for Donald Trump, he's a crypto billionaire. And as Axios explains, the Trump meme coin now accounts for 89% of his net worth. But there's more. They continue, the coin, technically a token that's issued on the Solana blockchain, has massively enriched Trump personally, enabled a mechanism for the crypto industry to funnel cash to him, oh goody, and created a volatile financial asset that allows anyone in the world to financially speculate on Trump's political fortunes.
Yeah, so that's a problem. I can think of a myriad of different reasons as to why that's a really, really big problem. But you know, I guess when you're president, they just let you do it, right? The rules don't apply to you. You have immunity, and it's all good. Would surely be ashamed if some non-American corporation would come in and shredded all the meme coins.
Sounds totally legit. I'm sure there's no reason to assume that this is going to be abused at all. Nothing to worry about, folks.
Being forced to see ads?
Ah.
Right after the Trump meme coin launched, the Melania meme coin launched, which caused the Trump coin to crash by around 40%, meaning a bunch of loyal Trump supporters who just pumped a bunch of their own money into the Trump coin lost a lot of money. And here's their reactions to that.
Man, I zero sympathy, just to be clear. Zero sympathy. At this point, like, you should know. You should know that anything, like, even if you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, even if you know zero about cryptocurrency, like, you should know that this person is known for pulling off cons, okay? From fake universities to bankrupting casinos, okay? Like, seriously, I would not, I wouldn't even dream of giving this man a penny. A penny. I wouldn't even, I wouldn't even give him a penny split in half. Trump is for sale, but not Greenland. Correct. They let Trump slide and slide. Yep. My island on Animal Crossing is called Greenland. Nice. The house always wins, and this motherfucker's house still lost. Yep. If you want free money, I don't really care if you get cheated.
So on the Leopards Eating People's Faces subreddit, user Technical Manager 921 shared this screenshot of the Trump coin investors reacting in real time as the value of the coin that they just bought fell rapidly. What's happening? It's dropping like crazy. A lot, but it will bounce up. Are you sure? I just lost $1,000 since last hour. Will it ever reach 100 or something? I lost 1,000 too.
Nope. You got bamboozled for the umpteenth time at this point. Like,
Brother, but remember, you only lose when you sell on red. Just remember, Coinbase is on the way, and a big drop is an opportunity for whales. They will want to come back for more. Don't know if things will go up from here, man. Kind of depressed here. Not sure if his speech will change anything tomorrow.
No.
Melania launched his meme coin. We are fucked. Meaning she launched her own? Yes, they fucked us.
what a bunch of losers, man. Losers.
Now, in a video about this dip by YouTuber Crypto Capital Venture, this comment went viral for obvious reasons, with this person saying, "I was a massive supporter of Trump, but now I look stupid." Yep, you do, bud.
Oh, what now? Now you look stupid? Oh. My sweet summer child. If you're a Trump supporter in 2025, I've got news.
I mean, it was kind of obvious by your terrible grammar, but nonetheless, yeah, that certainly confirms our suspicion. But there's another. Reddit user Inconsistent3 shared this screenshot to the Leopards Eating People's Faces subreddit of somebody who is now feeling buyer's remorse because of this shitcoin. Trump coin seriously peed me off. I was starting to feel optimistic about crypto with Trump's apparent executive orders, SEC overhaul, and many other things.
I'm sorry, that just sounded a lot funnier. I that just sounded a lot funnier. I think I'm going to assume what they meant was pissed off. Okay. They effed us. He said he'd solve the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Still waiting. No. Listen. Making sure that the brown people don't have birthright citizenship is priority numero uno. Okay, declaring a national emergency and diverting resources to the border so that the Browns, so that the brown people get pushed back is priority numero uno.
Then he goes and released a meme coin, which just makes crypto seem like one huge joke again. Genuinely think he is now only trying to be positive about crypto for his own gain. No, you don't fucking say. And I can't see it ending well now. Seriously, I was a big Trump fan, but which president thinks it's a good idea to make a meme coin when they're about to be in charge of a very large country? Massively gone down in my expectations. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, like, you know what's also frustrating? I don't know if Mike's going to mention this, but like, you know what's really aggravating about this is that it wasn't like the racism. It wasn't like the encouragement of the far right. It wasn't like the obvious rug pulls that he continued to do throughout his entire career. Like, no, it was the fact that they got screwed over financially that actually like provided some like lucidity for a brief, if only for a brief moment. Like, you know, it wasn't the encouragement, the encouragement of Nazis. It wasn't like the obvious nationalistic ideology. It wasn't the racism. It wasn't the calls for insurrection and or rather the inspiration of an insurrection. It's not the obvious anti-democratic sentiments that he holds. No. It's I got screwed on this meme coin, and now I'm mad. Yeah, the only moral abortion is my abortion. Exactly. If I take as much K and Molly, will I be as rich as Elani? I mean, you're welcome to put that theory to the test. In a video game, of course, I would not encourage that.
You know, it's not like Trump would ever scam his own supporters. It's not like there's a history of him doing this.
Right, he would never do that. Never.
Be crazy, right? But listen, let's be honest. If Trump announced a brand new meme coin tomorrow and rug pulled the day after, you would still buy the next coin he released the day after that, because that's just what he does, because he knows you all will fall for it again and again and again, right? And I mean, if you fell for it again at this point, I just have to expect that you're never going to stop falling for it, which is why he's going to keep doing this. But with that being said, I do feel very bad for you. So go ahead and type your name and credit card information down in the comment section, and I will reimburse you the money that you lost on Trump's behalf, because I feel bad for you. Don't actually do that. I'm joking, obviously.
Yeah, you know, these people might actually be dumb enough to do something like that. If Trump, like, seriously, if Trump told them, well, I mean, they already did it, right? Like, they already gave him his credit card and money, so, I mean, why not? I bet just like his gaming habits, Elon pays someone else to do his drugs for him. No empathy except for themselves, correct. I do my own drugs and gaming. Me too! I'm proud to say that I am a legitimate gamer, okay? Which is why I really am terrible.
But you were about to, right? You were going to do that. You have to stop. You have to use at least a little bit of common sense to understand when it's a good time to listen to people who say they're in it for you, right?
I am proud to say that all my gaming and drugs are done with my own hands, allegedly. Mike. No, man, they don't care. It's a cult, okay? It's a cult. It's not processing here. There's no critical thinking happening here. You are being logical. That's the problem. You are being logical, and you're because it doesn't compute that somebody would do this, right? So logically, it would stand that maybe put that PSA out there, but no, this is not. No, these people don't operate like that. It doesn't matter how much evidence you show these people. They're still, like he just said like 5 seconds ago, they're still going to buy the next con, right? Because we're dealing with a cult here. It's not it doesn't work that way. Wisdom keeps chasing MAGA, but they're all just a bit faster.
The Hawk to a coin to the Trump coin, you have to understand that these attempts to scam people are particularly nefarious because they know that their followers are desperate and they trust them. They're preying on that. And they don't even care. They don't care that people are going to be hurt. If someone that you have a parasocial relationship with tells you to invest in their shitcoin, maybe it sounds good because you trust them, but you have to understand that they don't know you like you think you know them. They don't want you to get rich. They're selling it so they can get rich.
Right.
It's not about you, it's about them. It's growth.
Right, but like they don't care about any of this.
Because they know that you're desperate and you're trying to find some ticket to wealth, but you have to understand that this has been done again and again and again. How many creators have done this? The president doing it, that's kind of a new thing, but I mean, all of the signs, all of the red flags are there to where by now you should understand what this is. But Trump's meme coin isn't going to be your ticket to wealth, and his presidency certainly isn't going to help you get rich as well, or even feel better, because his last presidency was effectively one big scam as well.
Trump never divested from his business.
Right, and like that's the thing though, like these people are not going to care. Like there could be all the evidence in the world and they're going to still be like, yeah, Trump, whatever. You need racist baby brain logic to understand their motives. True. Cult breaking is done through erosion, not logic most often, unfortunately. Yeah, and quite frankly, like you're not going to be able to facts and logic your way to pull somebody out of a cult. It kind of has to be like their decision, and that's about it. The only thing that you can do is offer your this is assuming that you're a close person, but the only thing you can do is offer an open door, should they feel like it's time to leave the cult. But like if they're in a cult, then like that's it. You can't really do much about that, unfortunately.
when he became president. Forbes now estimates that he earned $550 million during his time in office. A huge chunk of that came from foreign investors and governments. Whose payroll will he be on if he gets back into the White House? Trump is planning another giant tax cut for the wealthy. To pay for it, he's giving two billionaires, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the authority to target programs average Americans rely on.
Incidentally, Vivek Ramaswamy has been booted out of Doge, by the way. So a couple of things, like, I don't know, maybe... oh, wait, no, that's the David Dole video. Never mind. Like, a couple of things on that. Vivek is out. Okay, Vivek is out of Doge to, quote, focus on his run in Ohio for his gubernatorial race in Ohio. Sure, bud. And two, Trump signed a executive order making Doge an official thing. So this is going to be as of right now, a real, like, governmental program, which makes no sense because we already have a program for that. And furthermore, it's going to be headed by the richest person on the planet. Also, just to put another asterisk on that, as soon as that executive order was signed, there's now lawsuits against the formation of Doge, and against several of the executive orders that have been signed. I don't know how many of those executive orders are going to end up living through these lawsuits. We don't know. So we'll see. I'd say it depends on how long they've been in the cult. The young are most likely to be safe from that kind of thing. True. I guess maybe I'm just, like, thinking about, like, the deep entrenched Trump cult, who, if you've had the unpleasant, if you've had the unpleasant experience of talking to these people, it becomes pretty apparent. The allure of the straw man is that every time they hurt people or cheat people, it makes the followers feel like they're doing it too, and they feel in control. Yes, that's actually a very good and important point as to how this works, because remember, all of this revolves around hate and bigotry for minorities, right? So, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Birthright citizenship is in the Constitution. Correct. And incidentally, also, just to just to add to that, apparently, I don't know if it's back on right now, but apparently the Constitution has been taken out of the governmental website, the White House website. Pretty ominous, if you ask me. As of 1 hour ago, it gives you a page not found. So I mean, I think it's pretty ominous, in my opinion, just to see that, right? Because, like, well, obviously, it's not like they can, like, delete every single constitution ever, but, like, it's just it's a bit ominous to see that on the official website it's gone, where normally you would find it there. Trump's mother was an illegal immigrant. Can't Trump just break the law and do it anyway with his immunity? I mean, like, I don't even know, man. It's just like, All bets are off. All bets are off. It's not like we can't look it up. What a weird move. No, yeah, I think it is intentional. I think it is intentional. And I think it's very ominous. It's not like, again, obviously you're right. You can literally, you can literally look up the Constitution anywhere, but it's just like, it's super ominous. To just see it yeeted off the official White House website. Is Ramaswamy from Ohio? Don't know. Yes, but it is weird because they're supposed to be upholding tradition, conserving it. I have news on that. 5 out of 6 Trump's kids are anchor babies. The point is definitely laundering fascist ideology through systemic reinforcement of their truth. When someone looks up the actual Constitution, his followers will rebuke it because it isn't the version of Constitution available on the White House site. Right, like the Trump Bible. Wasn't the Trump Bible also not the complete Bible, but like, I don't know, it was a little it was a Bible plus the Constitution plus the Bill of Rights or something like that, or not the Bill of Rights, the I don't think they would put that there. It was the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I can't remember. Whatever. Yeah, I exactly what I see exactly what you're saying. Vivek is in fact from Cincinnati. Gotcha. Whatever was cheapest, I guess. Yep.
He's putting billionaires in charge of key departments. Meanwhile, CEOs are descending on Mar-a-Lago like moths to a flame in order to curry Trump's favor. Musk, the richest person in America, has turned his giant media platform, X, into a cesspool of lies and bigotry in support of Trump. Jeff Bezos, the second richest person in America and owner of Amazon, has reportedly agreed to pay $40 million for Melania Trump's documentary, for which she's executive producer.
Melania.
Previously, Bezos blocked the newspaper he owned.
Bezos, I need Melania's documentary, okay? I'm gonna be president. I need Melania's documentary on the Amazon, okay? If you don't do what I say, you know what's gonna happen. Bezos, Amazon. An evil supervillain, Jeff Bezos.
Owns the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Mark Zuckerberg, the third richest person in America, has chosen to allow lies and bigotry on Facebook and Instagram, presumably in support of Trump. Zuckerberg says the deciding factor for doing this was the cultural tipping point of Trump's election. And this is just the beginning.
Red flag. I can't believe we got Jeff Bezos and not Lex Luthor, not my villainous billionaire. I mean, like, same difference, right? Like, same difference. If someone were to tell me from my childhood, okay, if some time traveler would tell me from my childhood that Lex Luthor was gonna be like real one day, like, man, I would tell them that they're crazy. Trump wants Elon to buy TikTok. I mean, that wouldn't be surprising. That would not surprise me at all, actually. That makes perfect sense. Mark, obviously an android Zuckerberg. Lex Luthor has more principles than Zuckerberg. True. Lex does at least look like humanity. I hope they don't sell. I hope they don't sell. I'd be really surprised if they sold. I think there's a middle ground where they can compliment his ego enough so that he forgets that he wanted them to. Maybe, which is probably why they were there at the inauguration, right? Wasn't the CEO of TikTok there? Trump threatened to pull Zuckerberg in jail, and he probably had to sell out. Ego stroked and palms greased.
Of the oligarchic takeover under Trump.
So he got extremely rich during his first term, and he's about to get even richer in his second term. And he's going to use the power of the federal government to facilitate another major transfer of wealth from working class Americans like you to oligarchs like Musk, Bezos, and Zuckerberg. And all of the tech oligarchs who are lining up to kiss his ring are doing so because they want to cut after he robs you again. But that's apparently not enough, because he's also preying on the undying loyalty of his own followers by scamming them with the shitcoin, because he knows that there's going to be no accountability whatsoever. Not only will he get away with it, but they're still going to support him even after he scams them. I mean, think about this. He got away with an insurrection. So he's coming in to the second...
he got away with inciting an insurrection. He got away with fraud, okay? He got away with trying to steal the election. I mean, dude's on top of the world right now. Won the presidency somehow. Like, A, was allowed to run. B, won that race. I mean, like, dude, he's on top of the world. I live in Denmark, so I can play with TikTok all I want. Nice. I'm glad Denmark has more free speech than America. Trump is willing, they have no reason to sell. Yeah, I don't think they will. Trump is willing to buy 50% of TikTok, which doesn't make sense if it's a security risk. Right, it was never about a security risk. Right, it was never about a security risk. Trump is, yes, he's Teflon Don untouchable. Yep, now he is, certainly. If there was only an opposition party with the balls to punish him, oh well, we don't live in that fantasy world. Nope. Human trafficking. Same, but I won't play on TikTok. Yeah, I actually stopped using TikTok for a while. But in any case, I don't think that the way they targeted TikTok and the reasons why they banned TikTok, I don't think that is legitimate. And I think that's a huge problem. People are going to the actual Chinese TikTok despite Meta. Right? Is it Red Note? Which one? Was he really was he really so good and persuasive, or was his opposition just so bad? I don't know. I mean, like, there could be there could be a blend of several different factors as to how this happened, right? And one of them is it's true. The opposition, to the extent that it exists, is woefully just not capable of dealing with him. So, yeah. I just took one look at TikTok and I was like, nope, F no. Actually, you know what? I actually liked the concept of TikTok. I actually liked the concept of TikTok, the short kind of deal. But I just stopped using it. This has been a while. Like, I used to have the account. I don't think it even exists anymore. The A Difficult Truth TikTok. People are going to actual Chinese TikTok despite Meta. Duolingo swamped with people learning Chinese. That's actually pretty cool.
With near total immunity, thanks to the Supreme Court. So, of course, he's going to get away with a shitcoin, right? It's not even going to be a blip on the radar of crimes that he inevitably commits as president. And it's just, this is why he does it, because you're going to have cognitive dissonance, not fight through it, and you're going to say, well, you know, maybe there was a reason, or maybe Trump was duped. There's going to be some rationalization, because whenever Trump does something that's obviously bad, his followers find some way to rationalize it and justify it.
Yep.
because MAGA is as much a cult as it is a political movement. That's why he's scamming you, right? Now, Voidzilla explains how absurd all of this is in a video and talks about the Melania coin and how that's an even bigger scam than the Trump coin.
These meme coins obviously have no value except to redistribute wealth from poor, regular people to insiders, rich people, early people, snipers, developers, the infrastructure that makes all this happen. You are just being used as a piggy bank. Not to mention, Melania's coin also unlocks sooner than Trump's did. So they don't even pretend like it's even as serious of a project. It's like even more of a grift. Unlike Trump's, which locked for 3 to 12 months, this one locks for 30 days and then only for 13 months. So it's just so obvious. Does anybody see this? I don't know. It's wild. And because all the crypto people have aligned themselves sort of with Trump, because they thought he was going to be the next Satoshi Nakamoto, create the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Instead, he turned out to be Hawk Tuah Girl, and pivoting on that is hard because he also not only appoints
Oh my
the law
God.
enforcement, he also appoints the regulators of crypto.
This is just so absurd. This is just so freaking absurd. The concept of TikTok is 2.5 billion need to know I exist and pay attention to my spontaneous behavior. No, thank you. Also another vehicle to globalize your personal information. Yeah, I mean, yeah, social media. Yeah.
So you've got Coinbase, Binance, Kraken tripping over themselves to list this token, which is going to wreck a lot of people. I mean, I know we love to make fun of Hawk Tuah Girl, but if you actually think about it, Trump's coin is going to hurt way more people. It's a coin that stacked 4-1 against you, where the guy against you is the president of the United States.
Yeah, that shouldn't be. I'm sorry. That shouldn't be a thing. What are we doing here exactly? Allowing this crap. Full stop. That should not be a thing.
So everyone who's not in crypto, you guys probably know what the S&P 500 is, right? That's back in the day, we used to buy companies that were built around earnings, profit, fundamental valuations, okay? I know this is ancient times, but the S&P 500 is the collection of the best of those companies and a basket of companies. So I was looking at some of those, and a lot of them have market caps lower than the Trump coin at its peak. At the peak of Trump's coin, meme coin, it was worth $70 billion full diluted valuation. FedEx is worth $65 billion. CVS, $66 billion. Target, $64 billion. Not even worth what Trump started a day, 2 days ago, is worth. Now, of course, I want to say full diluted valuation is a very misleading metric, but that is the equivalent price people were paying. Just think of it that way. People were willing to pay the equivalent of, for one little share of the Trump meme that they would have paid for Target. With actual stores. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's a bubble that is inevitable.
Yeah. Cheating people is narcissistic view for Trump, so he can't help himself. Yeah, I mean, that probably explains why his entire career has just been nothing but con after con after con after con. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Inevitably going to burst and hurt a lot of people, and there'll be no way for them to recoup those losses or hold the person who scammed them responsible, because he is literally the president of the United fucking States. There's nothing anyone can do except cope and seethe. But I mean, nobody should be surprised by now how brazen this is, because Trump is a lifelong con man. On one hand, it's sad because so many people are going to be hurt by this, but on the other hand, if you haven't learned by now and you're still falling for Trump's grifts in 2025, I mean, really, you have no one to blame but yourself. He doesn't give a fuck about you, And you have to understand that he's there to enrich himself and not you. Get that through your thick skull and understand that he is waging a class war on all of us.
Yeah, that's the problem. They don't care. Okay, they don't care. Listen, as long as the brown people are gone, okay, and as long as the libs are owned and there's no brown people, then, like, whatever, right? That's how these people operate. And, like, we can't do anything about that, necessarily. At this point, it's less about Trump and more about the people enabling him. Yep.
And you're not going to be exempt from the class war that he's waging
Darwin Award, yeah.
on us because you're loyal to him. In fact, he's going to try to squeeze you even harder because he thinks that he can, because he knows that you'll fall for it. So if you did fall for this, I'm sure none of my viewers did, but if you're one of the people who finds this video that fell for this, I'll leave you with some wise words from a great philosopher.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Not wrong, though. Not wrong. America is 100% based on scams and treats. Or threats, I guess. Okay, we got a couple of things to go through. Let's see. If we have time, we will just kind of go circle back to this. The first day of Trump's presidency has already been pretty freaking chaotic. Folks, I'm not gonna undersell it. Fascism is effectively here, folks. And no better example than watching Elon Sieg Heil on national television. Oh, I see what you mean. Treats like TikTok is a treat. People don't care until you try to take gotcha. It's why narcissistic are con men and makes them feel superior and in control. Yep, makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So yeah, I mean, like, fascism is here, folks. We have the richest man on the planet, Sieg Heiling on national television, and Trump has now began to issue his first deluge of executive orders. Bring it. The Trump rescinds Biden's census for order to clearing a path for reshaping election maps. I think this is one of the most important aspects that I don't think is getting a lot of attention, but is arguably one of the more something to really like. We're all like, you know, paying attention to like the Elon Nazi salute. The January 6th insurrectionists being pardoned, and just to be clear, that's all important. But this one kind of flew under the radar, so to speak. Among the dozen of Biden-era executive order that Trump has revoked on Monday, yesterday, the one that was reversed, was one that had reversed the first Trump administration's unprecedented policy of altering a key set of consensus results. Since the first, and I think we've talked about this in the first, previously, but anyways, since the first census of 1790, no resident has ever been omitted from those numbers because of immigration status. And after the Civil War, the 14th Amendment has called for the population count that determine each state's share of U.S. House seats and Electoral College votes to include a whole number of persons in each state. Vampire Hunter, I seem to recognize your name, and that's not a good thing. It's called for the population count that determines each state's share of U.S. House seats and Electoral College votes to include the whole number of persons in each state. I could be wrong, but for some reason, that username rings familiar. Biden's now revoked 2021 order affirmed the long-standing practice of including the total number of persons residing in each state in those census results. It was issued in response to Trump's attempt during the national tally in 2020 to exclude millions of U.S. residents without legal status. Right, with the purpose of again finagling the way elections are done. This is wild. That effort began with a failed push to add a citizenship question to census questionnaires, which the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately blocked from the 2020 forms. Yep, so we did talk about this, I remember. I'm a cheese hunter, is that okay? Yeah, I think so. I think you're okay. Biden's order also effectively ended a Trump administration-initiated project at the Census Bureau to produce neighborhood block-level citizenship data using the government records. That data, a GOP redistricting strategist once concluded, could be advantageous to Republicans and non-Hispanic whites when voting districts are redrawn. It's not clear yet if the second Trump administration would revive these census-related efforts. In his new order, Trump said revoking Biden's order will be the first of many steps the United States federal government will take to repair institutions and our economy, ? The 14th Amendment was itself was racist because of the three-fifths rule. Yep. Conservative groups behind Project 2025 have included adding citizenship questions among their priorities for a conservative administration, and a growing number of Republican members of Congress, including Representative Chuck Edwards of North Carolina, have introduced bills that call for using the next head count to tally non-U.S. citizens living in the country, and then subtract some or all of those residents from what we know as the congressional appointment counts, from what are known as the congressional apportionment counts. Yeah, so this is pretty freaking bad, assuming that they can implement this. Bipedal Meatbag, he's forcing people to file lawsuits so the issue goes to SCOTUS. Yeah, I mean, just to be clear, yes, several of these executive orders have already, they already have lawsuits against them. Yeah, no doubt about it. Late last week, the Republican State Attorney General of Louisiana, Kansas, and Ohio, and West Virginia filed a lawsuit asking a federal judge to ban the Bureau from including in those official numbers residents without legal status and those with visas. The timing of the case resurrects a question that hung over a similar lawsuit by Alabama during the first Trump administration. Will Trump officials allow Justice Department attorney generals assigned to the lawsuits to fully defend the Bureau's policy of counting all U.S. residents? Zajab, hey, welcome. I could start a fire. I mean, it's pretty cold. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty freaking cold. Trump's second term is set to end before the final decisions have to be made on what questions in the 2030 census will ask and who ends up getting included in the apportionment counts. Though it had an opportunity during the first Trump administration, the Supreme Court has yet to rule on whether the president can exclude people who are in the country without legal status from the tally that determines the political power in the U.S. So, that's cool. Charles Clare subscribing with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Shifting gears here, folks. I'm sure many of you have already seen this as it's been making the rounds. Oh, I think I might have something from Blue Sky queued up. Okay, so before we get into that, a couple of things that have not gotten that much like national attention. with regards to some of the executive orders, Trump has repealed a Biden executive order that mandates ethical behavior from administration employees. The order was told federal workers to not accept gifts from lobbyists, not to take bribes, not lobby for 2 years after government work. So all those rules are now gone. I think that's pretty in line with Trump's Project 2025 of remaking the bureaucracy in his image. So that's cool. Very cool. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. There goes the neighborhood indeed. Trump has also rolled back a Biden order that has mandated negotiations to lower the cost of drugs for people using Medicare and Medicaid. Yep, that's right. Day one, folks. Day one, this is what's happening. Medicare has just announced 15 more drugs whose price they were going to bring down in negotiations with Big Pharma. That's all gone. That's done away with. Until at least if it gets challenged, then it'll go through that process. But that's cool. So there goes that. I mean, like, seriously, just it's not looking good. It's not looking good. 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, going to be -8. Feels like -28. It's freaking cold. It is cold. It is very cold. That's just a couple of little things that have been happening. Little Marco on CBS earlier. I think this is pretty poignant.
The image.
I think this is pretty poignant.
The images of the attack stirred up anger in you. The nation was embarrassed in the eyes of the world by our own citizens. How do you personally reconcile those feelings with the pardons that he did yesterday?
Yeah, just to be clear, like, all these people are now pardoned. Like, so yeah, man, it doesn't matter. The rules don't matter. Rule of law, insurrection, it's all good. It's all green. It's all fine.
I understand you have work to do in the job as far as there are many things, but on this particular issue, I'm curious about what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, what I'm thinking is that I used to be a United States Senator until midnight last night, and now I'm about to be sworn in as the Secretary of State of the United States. And that's what I'm thinking, is I work for Donald J. Trump, the new President of the United States, the 47th President, who has a clear mandate to reorient our...
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you, Little Marco. Wait, like, man, what a spine on that guy, right? What a spine on this party. It's amazing. It's actually phenomenal. What a freaking spine on this man. Fantastic. Like, hey, yeah, I mean, like, you were saying, like, pretty true things about how, you felt about the insurrection, and now you are the Secretary of State. Like, how do you reconcile that? Oh, well, I just work for the man now. I work for the big guy. I work for the cult leader, man. I work for Jim Jones, man. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. That's all I was told to say. So, yeah. I have no principles. This is the worst timeline. No, it is. This is the bad one, okay? This is the bad timeline, folks. This is the bad timeline. No doubt about it.
Foreign policy to one that once again puts America and our interests at the center, and that's what I'm going to focus on, 100%.
So, Mr.
The images
Wild stuff, wild stuff. You can just get up there and say whatever to please the dear leader, and that's it. That's all you gotta do. Day one, folks. Day one. Yeah, everything else is a communist agenda. Correct. What flavor of Kool-Aid did Trump give you, Marco? Just the Republican flavor. That's it. I hope it was blue. That shit was good. I forget what Kool-Aid tastes like. I'm be honest. I forgot what that even tastes like. You need to drink some in a goblet. Yeah, there you go. With some chicken nuggets. What? Oof. That sounds pretty freaking good. That sounds pretty freaking good. I am the whitest trash. Honestly, that sounds fantastic. Do they even make sugar-free Kool-Aid? I'm pretty sure they do, right? It's 2025. Yep, they do. They make zero sugar Kool-Aid. Oh, the packets don't have sugar you have to add, so you could do Splenda for 35 years about. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Look, the Kool-Aid just appeared, okay, as a kid. Technically all Kool-Aid is zero sugar. Yeah. Yeah, like, I listen, okay? When that stuff was going around, I was a kid, so Kool-Aid just magically appeared, okay? I didn't question it. So, yeah. In my mind, I guess it just already automatically came like that. You gotta put like a cup of sugar in it, it's so bad. It's been a hot minute since I've had Kool-Aid. Fun fact, Kool-Aid powder plus beer equals a decent antifreeze. Huh. The more you know. I'd not test that. That's okay. The Jeep can take it. It cannot. Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, and leaders of out of prison after Trump pardons them. That's cool. So I guess we get rewarded for insurrectionary behavior, so long as said insurrectionary behavior is for the dear leader. So that's cool. Enrique Tarrio, who is the Proud Boys leader, the former head of the Proud Boys, and Stuart Rhodes, the head of the Oath Keepers, were released on Tuesday today from prison following President Trump's sweeping pardon of those convicted in connection with the January 6th insurrection. They were serving 22 and 18 years sentence, respectively, for their roles in the insurrection. Like, just to be clear, like that, however much they spent in jail, which is probably not that long, is nothing compared to what they are supposed to be facing. 22 and 18 years, because doing and inciting and participating in an insurrection, as it turns out, is not something that you want to let slide. But hey, apparently, if you do it in the service of the dear leader, then it's all good. It's fine. A federal judge sentenced Rhodes in May of 23 after he was convicted of seditious conspiracy the year prior for his and his group's role in the insurrection. The Oath Keepers had stockpiled weapons at a DC hotel and organized the attack. Like, I mean, like, seriously, why are these people? It's wild that these people are now free. It's wild that these people are now free. I know because I placed a paper cup full of beer and grape Kool-Aid in the glowing coals of a bonfire, and all parts of the cup had liquid survived in the fire, and the liquid did not boil away. Ha! Thanks, Biden. It wasn't even a successful insurrection. Right. Rhodes himself did not enter the Capitol on January 6 and maintained that his group only intended to provide security and medical aid to those attending multiple pro-Trump demonstrations in the area. Yeah, sure, bud. Terrio was sentenced in September of 23 for his conviction on seditious conspiracy and given the longest sentence of all the convicted January 6 insurrectionists, though he was not at the Capitol on January 6. During his sentencing, prosecutors pointed to a 9-page strategic plan to, quote, storm the government building in Washington on January 6th that was found in Tarrio's possession after the riot, as well as violent rhetoric they say he routinely used in messages with other members of the group about what they would do if Congress moved forward in certifying President Biden's electoral win. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray, who stepped down ahead of Trump taking office, described both the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers as domestic extremist groups. I would say domestic terrorist groups, yes. Certainly, the Capitol attack involved violent terrorists, Wray said during the testimony in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. As I said, we, the FBI, consider this form of domestic terrorism. It included a variety of backgrounds. Certainly, they were quite a number. We are seeing quite a number as we are building out cases on the individuals we have arrested for the violence. Quite a number who we would call sort of militia violent extremists. So we've got a number who self-identify with the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, things like that. 4 years after they raided the Capitol, threatened Congress members, and assaulted police officers, a group of some of the January 6 rioters convicted of the most violent incidents that day are now free men, thanks to Trump. Cool. Must be nice. Must be nice. Other convicted members were scheduled to be released throughout the day from Washington, D.C. area jails and prisons. Of the nearly 1,600 individuals who have faced charges associated with the Capitol insurrection, according to figures released by the U.S. Attorney's Office, 608 individuals faced charges for assaulting, resisting, or interfering with law enforcement trying to protect the complex that day. Approximately 140 law enforcement officers were injured during the insurrection, the Department of Justice has said. As more of the insurrectionists were released from jails and prisons, a group of Trump supporters, Proud Boys members, and others gathered and cheered them on. The group carried large flagpoles with Trump and American flags attached, and signage read that read "No Man Left Behind" and "Pardon all J6 hostages, Day 1." Fantastic. Current and former DOJ officials have expressed alarm over the potential that Trump would hand down pardons or otherwise free violent offenders citing the potential risk they could seek to target the prosecutors who oversaw their cases, the judges who sentenced them to periods of incarceration, or witnesses who may have testified against them. Cool. Very awesome. Very good stuff. All happening day one. Cool. Yeah, if they were hostages, why would they need pardons? Right. Political prisoners. Oh, God. President Trump said early Tuesday today his staffers are actively in the process of identifying and removing over 1,000 presidential appointees from the Biden administration, including retired U.S. Army General Mark Milley and celebrity chef Jose Andres. So, this is actually pretty in line with Project 2025. It's part of Trump's MAGA agenda drive for his second administration and push to unravel his predecessor, former President Biden's policies and wider legacy. Trump said on Truth Social his presidential personal office is targeting appointees from the previous administration who are not aligned with our vision to make America great again. Right. So anyone who is not MAGA is going to be gone. He should keep them locked up because they didn't overturn the election. Suckers and losers. True. Welcome, Dan anonymously. Trump identified 4 people in the post whom he said he's issuing a notice of dismissal, with many more soon to come. Jose Andres from the Presidential Council of Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition, Mark Milley from the National Infrastructure Advisory Council, Brian Hook from the Wilson Center for Scholars and former Atlanta mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms from the President's Expert Council. You're fired. Milley, who served as chair of Joint Chief of Staff from 2019 to 2023, was among those issued with the preemptive pardon before Biden left office. That's cool. Very cool. If you haven't watched Jon Stewart, saw clips of it, Fire Speed. No, I haven't, but I gotta check that out. This comes as Trump has made several executive orders in the name of deregulation and propping up the fossil fuel industry. He did that day one. A third of the Arctic's vast carbon sink now a source of emissions, so that's cool. Man, we're just heading in the right direction, aren't we, folks? A third of the Arctic tundras, forests, and wetlands have become a source of carbon emission. A new study has found as global heating ends thousands of years of carbon storage in parts of the frozen north. For millennia, Arctic land ecosystems have acted as a deep freeze for the planet's carbon, holding vast amounts of potential emissions in the permafrost. But ecosystems in the region are increasingly become a contributor to global heating as they release more CO2 with rising temperatures, which then makes that ice melt more, which means more of that gets released and a negative feedback loop ensues. So that's cool. Hey, listen, we're doing fantastic. More than 30% of the region was a net source of CO2, according to the analysis, rising to 40% when emissions from wildfires were included. By using monitoring data from 200 study sites between 1990 and 2020, the research demonstrates how the Arctic's boreal forests, wetlands, and tundra are being transformed by rapid warming. It is the first time that we're seeing this shift at such a large scale, cumulative across all of the tundra. That's a pretty big deal, said Sue Natalie, co-author and lead researcher on the study at the Woodwell Climate Research Center. The shift is occurring despite the Arctic becoming greener. One place where I work in interior Alaska, when the permafrost thaws, the plants grow more, so you can sometimes get an uptick in carbon storage. but the permafrost continues to melt and the microbes take over. You have this really big pool of carbon in the ground, and you see things like ground collapse. You can visually see the changes in the landscape. The study comes amid growing concern from scientists about the natural process that regulate the Earth's climate, which are themselves being affected by the rising temperatures. Together, the planet's oceans, forests, soils, and other natural carbon sinks absorb about half of all human emissions, but there are signs that these sinks are under strain. Yeah, so that's not great. Not good. Not good at all. If the systems that are designed to regulate the CO2 begin to fall, then I mean it's not good. It's not good at all. That just kind of hypercharges the effects, because it's not, the usual carbon sinks are not doing their work, so therefore more carbon gets stuck in the atmosphere. So therefore, the planet warms at a faster rate, and it begins. As I said, it forms that negative feedback loop. So that's not good. The Arctic system, spanning Siberia, Alaska, the Nordic countries, and Canada, has been accumulating carbon for thousands of years, helping cool the Earth's atmosphere. In a warming world, the researchers say the carbon cycle in the region is beginning to change and needs better monitoring. Anna Verkala, the lead author of the study, says there's a load of carbon in the Arctic soils. It's close to half the Earth's soil carbon pool. That's more than there is in the atmosphere. That's a huge potential reservoir that should ideally stay in the ground. As temperatures get warmer, soil gets warmer. In the permafrost, most of the soils have been entirely frozen throughout the full year. But now the temperatures are warmer, there's more organic matter available for decomposition, and the carbon gets released into the atmosphere. This is the permafrost carbon feedback, which is the key driver here. Yep. No, indeed. This comes as Trump, again, has made several executive orders benefiting the fossil fuel industry and deregulating. I mean, this is not good. Not a good situation. Not a great scenario to be in. To be looking at, to be quite frank. But yeah. This is the bad timeline, folks. This is the bad timeline. This is from the exact White House website. Trump is attempting to end birthright citizenship by executive order. He has signed this executive order, posted a Daily Show video in videos. Excellent. I can take a look at that later. Thank you. So Trump, via executive order here, has now attempted to end birthright citizenship. So Constitution be damned, I guess. The privilege of the United States citizenship is a priceless and profound gift. The 14th Amendment states all persons born or naturalized in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. That provision rightly repudiated the Supreme Court of the state's shameful decision of Dred Scott versus Sanford, misinterpreted the Constitution as permanently excluding people of African descent from eligibility for United States citizenship solely based on their race. But the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States. I mean, that's literally what birthright citizenship means, but okay. The 14th Amendment has always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who were born in the U.S. but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Consistent with this understanding, the Congress has further specified through legislation that a person born in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a national and citizen of the United States at birth, generally mirroring the 14th Amendment's text. Among the categories of individuals born in the United States and not subject to jurisdiction thereof, the privilege of the United States citizenship does not automatically extend to persons born in the United States. One, when that person's mother was unlawfully present in the United States and the father was not a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of said person's birth, or when that person's mother's presence in the U.S. that at the time of said person's birth was lawful but temporary, such as but not limited to visiting the U.S. under the auspices of the visa waiver program or visiting on a student work or tourist visa, and the father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident at the time of said person's birth. It is the policy of the United States that no department or agency of the U.S. government shall issue documents recognizing U.S. citizenship or accept documents issued by state, local, or other governments or authorities purportedly to recognize U.S. citizenship to persons who, when the mother was unlawfully, yada, 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 yada. So, like, yeah, effectively, this is targeting future birthright citizenship. Subsection A of this section shall apply only to persons who are born within the United States after 30 days of this date of this order. Nothing in this order shall be constructed to affect the entitlement of other individuals, including children of lawful permanent residents, to obtain documentation of their United States citizenship. So what will die first, the human-compatible biosphere or the people who insist on burning sequestered carbon as a primary energy source? Whew. Hard to tell. I can't, I have no idea, Cognizant. Take a look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about this. This is, very, very, very freaking ominous. Not eerie at all. So that's cool. The Constitution, to these people only matter, insofar as it helps advance their authoritarian agenda. But like once that's done, like the Constitution becomes a roadblock, then like they'll discard it at the drop of a hat. Like you could really tell, like these people do not care about the Constitution at all. Like the Constitution is not something that these people intend. They don't care. That's my point. They don't care. It's clear as day they don't care about the regular rule of law. So why would they care about the Constitution? The Secretary of State, Attorney General, and Secretary of Homeland Security and the Commissioner of Social Security shall take all appropriate measures to ensure that the regulations and policies of their respective departments and agencies are consistent with this order, and that no officers, employees, or agents of their respective departments and agencies act or forbear from acting in any manner inconsistent with this order. Heads of all executive departments and agencies shall issue public guidance within 30 days of the date of this order regarding the implementation with respect to their operations and activities. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. So yeah, we're kind of looking at. I mean, like if this isn't fascism, I don't know what is. Of course, this is immediately being challenged. There is already a lawsuit immediately. So I don't know how far they're going to be able to push this, but it's not great. It's not cool. Not great. This is the bad timeline, folks. This is the bad timeline. So I think we have just enough time to get through David Dole's assessment of things. So I suppose we can take this last moment to kind of go through this together.
There is so much news over the past 24 hours that I am going to attempt to combine a lot of it, what I found to be important, into this single video. So I'm going to go over the salute, Donald Trump raising prices for people on day one, also trans rights, this idea of Trump being for free speech, video games, you'll see how that plays into this, as well as Israel. So going to be all over the place in this video, but let me start because there's a lot of it. with this image shared by David Adler on Twitter saying, "These are not just the richest men in the world, they are the richest men in human history, and today they bend their knee at the throne of Donald J. Trump." I don't know if any of you people are still out there, any of you Trump voters who still thought that Trump was anti-elite, anti-establishment. But in case you exist, look at who is at his inauguration. The richest people.
Yeah, but they don't care. I mean, like, even if they believe that, like, even if they truly believe in their hearts of hearts that Donald Trump is some kind of anti-establishment, like, it doesn't matter. And then there's no amount of pictures, evidence, video. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. This man was playing video games during his live stream of the inauguration.
People in the world that their interests are completely counter to the interests of working class people. So I don't know what else there is to say here. Clearly, there is this attempt by media around Trump to paint him as somehow anti-establishment, anti-elite, when he is the personification of the elite. As Luke Savage writes here, nothing profound to add here, but it's truly wild that there's a subset of radicalized reactionary media people who have embraced the idea that Trumpism is somehow a crusade against elites. Elites to these people apparently are trans people that have no power in society. Somehow they're elites. Or, teachers that think that they should be paid a little more and are in a union fighting for their rights. Somehow they're the elites. Like, who are these elites, if not for the very people sitting with him at his inauguration? Let's get to the salute, because this is just clear. Evan writes here, in quotes, "It was an accident. He's autistic." These are some of the defenses that people are using.
He's got a game over. He got a game over. Just don't look. Just as Don took the oath, I think Chadas was all, "Yep, that's accurate." Ah!
To try and claim that this very obvious Nazi salute is not what we clearly see it as. But it's like he watched videos online and just practiced.
And like Epic Meme Lord. Okay, great. So like also this isn't like a fluke, right? Like this isn't an accident, because then he turned around and did it again to the flag, right? To the big flag background. So like, yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and be gaslit. I saw what I freaking saw, okay? I saw what I saw. We all did, okay? We all know what we saw. It happened. Not just that, like this guy is known as like the Nazi reply guy. So yeah, right, he did it twice.
In the mirror. So, and he did that twice, by the way. He did it there, and then he turned around and did it for the crowd in the back, just to make sure, in case you missed it the first time. Evan writes, "Elon is not a Nazi. He just agreed with someone who said Hitler was right, boos Holocaust deniers and Nazis every single day, told everyone to watch a Holocaust denier on a podcast, repeats Nazi propaganda, has Nazi beliefs, does Nazi salutes."
By 2050.
Oh, this is so heartbreaking. We suck.
Mehdi Hassan added here, "or agreed with an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory on Twitter, or unleashed and then amplified a bunch of anti-Semites on Twitter, or backed for president a guy who hosted a Holocaust denier for dinner, or called for Tommy Robinson's release, or pushed great replacement, etc., etc." We did not need to see the salute to know who Elon Musk is. It was always very clear who he was. The salute just puts a pin in it. Like, in case it wasn't already obvious, in case you were too stupid to realize who he already was, here it is in your face. It's very, very clear. To add to that, Rachel Gilmore tweets out here, "To everyone saying he didn't mean it like that, please tell the neo-Nazi Telegram channels I monitor who are freaking the F out because they saw it exactly like that." When the Nazis online are rejoicing because Elon Musk did a Nazi salute, then he did a Nazi salute. Last point here. I thought this was worth sharing. It wasn't a Sieg Heil. Hey man, I'm going to be honest. I get that it's possible that you're that stupid, but I'm not. There you go. All right, let's get to Donald Trump. You know what? Sure. Maybe some Nazis here and there, but I know Donald Trump cares about the people. What he cares most about is ensuring people can afford to live. That's why he passed this, or signed into law, this executive order on Medicare, which actually rescinds Joe Biden's executive order, which was put in place to lower the cost of prescription drugs. So, day one of Trump's administration, he is raising the cost of prescription drugs. In case you want the details on this, this is the impact of rescinding the executive order. 1, halt development of cost reduction models. So, by the way, I'm not going to read through all this, but you can read through it yourself. Pause the video. 2, potential increase in out-of-pocket expenses and uncertainty in future drug pricing policies. This was so important to Trump to give the pharmaceutical industry, to give pharmaceutical corporations a win. This was so important to him that he had to do this on day one. And he may not stop there. Common Dreams writes here, Larry Levitt, Executive Vice President for Health Policy at Kaiser Family Foundation, added that, quote, the big question, which Trump hasn't addressed yet, is what he'll do with government negotiation of drug prices under the Inflation Reduction Act. Just days before Trump took office, the Biden administration announced a fresh slate of 15 medications set to be subject to direct price negotiations between the federal government and pharmaceutical companies, many of which have sued.
Can we go back to living in caves and building fires? It's going to be warm enough soon. Do you have a soundboard now? Yes, I have a semi-working soundboard. I'm still adding more stuff to it. But the initial preliminary thing seems to be working. So yeah, I'm gonna keep hacking at it until I get it to where I want it to be. And also, if you haven't noticed, we haven't had a single incident today, right? Yeah, we have not had a single camera incident today. Yeah.
Over the negotiation program thus far unsuccessfully. Pharmaceutical companies not happy that they actually have to lower their prices like they're forced to in other countries. So they are trying to change that. Now that they have Trump, they have been lobbying him. Reuters reporting here on the 16th, Pharma digs in on changes it wants from Trump administration, which the changes are obvious. Pharmaceutical industry is focusing its request for President-elect Donald Trump and Congress on fixing a Biden-era law allowing the Medicare health plan to negotiate prices for its costliest medicines along with insurance changes. Considering he already gave them a win on day one, don't be surprised if he tries to reverse this as well. Though it may require Congress to do so, but considering he has it, it's probably not going to be too far off. So, let's address free speech. Kyle Klinsky, who I think does a fantastic job at communicating the insanity of Trump, breaks down here. Trump says he'll bring free speech back to America. He recently sued Ann Seltzer for a poll he didn't like, sued CBS for how it edited a Kamala interview, sued Simon & Schuster for a Bob Woodward book because it quoted him, threatened to delicense news outlets that criticize him, wants to punish flag burning with a year in jail, sued CNN for $475 million for calling election denialism the big lie, sued Bill Maher for $5 million over a joke, supports opening up the libel laws to sue journalists, call for jailing journalists who reported on the SCOTUS abortion ruling, wants to deport pro-Palestine protesters, gag ordered the EPA from telling the truth on climate change, arrested and charged six journalists with felony rioting, didn't pardon Assange, Snowden, or Daniel Hale.
What joke? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, like, again, these people don't believe in free speech at all. Elon Musk does not believe in free speech. Donald Trump does not believe in free speech at all. I mean, they're authoritarians. They're fascists. They don't believe in that.
Wanted to invoke the Insurrection Act to deploy U.S. troops against George Floyd protesters. Called to terminate all rules, regulations, and articles in the Constitution over his election loss. He is the most anti-free speech president in modern American history. Complete authoritarian con man fraud. In case you have any friends out there that think Donald Trump is he's for free speech. I'm going to link this below the video along with all of my sources
It doesn't matter.
in the description box under sources on YouTube. Save this link and share it around with the people.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Like the people who are lost in the sauce, the evidence is not going to sway them. But I suppose, you know, Bill Maher called Trump an orangutan. Really? That's what it was? Boo. No, it's not even funny. A la Bill Maher. Yeah.
People that think Trump cares about free speech. No, he cares about himself. Now, trans rights. So Zaxios writes here, Trump targets transgender protections in a new executive order. So I'm going to get to some commentary on this from somebody who follows this a little more closely, just so it's clear that some of this doesn't appear to be enforceable immediately, but as Axios writes here, Trump's executive order states that only two sexes will be recognized by the federal government, male and female. As such, those two sexes will be recognized for official documents such as passports and visas. Sex is not a synonym for and does not include the concept of gender identity, the order states. The executive order aims to prohibit taxpayer funds from being used for gender-affirming care and to prevent transgender women from being held in women's prisons or detention centers. Now, Alejandro Caraballo, who covers these issues closely, writes here, there is nothing enforceable for the immediate future. It will take months or years to implement this via rulemaking or bureaucratic changes, which are then subject to legal challenge. While it's worrying, there's no immediate change yet for most trans people. Do not comply in advance. And goes on to add here, if you're a trans federal employee or seeking to change your gender marker on federal IDs, this may affect you sooner rather than later. It's likely changes could be implemented by the end of the week. For everyone else, this will take significant time. Federal bureaucracy moves slowly. Now, I didn't know where to fit this in, so I'm squeezing this between two more important issues, trans rights. And
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up. An orangutan with small hands. Now that's funny. Orangutan is much smarter. True. Could have called him an orangutan. Womp womp womp.
and we'll get to Israel and Gaza in a second here. But Matt Piscatella, I think this is worth mentioning because there is a subset, it's small, but there's a subset of gamers, especially online, on Twitter, that are very pro-Trump, very conservative, or I should say very right-wing, and are very happy with Trump being the president. Well, I wonder if they're going to be happy about this. As Matt Piscatella writes, with 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico on the way, I can see a sharp downtick in the number of disc-based games that get released physically in the U.S., as much of that production infrastructure is in Mexico. If they do get made, I expect higher prices, both physical and digital. I would, were this to happen, anticipate digital MSRPs to increase to remain at price parity with physical, but who knows? In any case, none of this is good for the physical video game market. Can't that production just move?
Really? I'm not paying more for video games, let me tell you. It's mainly Hamas flags and ISIS flag Trump tends to have a problem with, mainly because it's an easy thing to point out and all protesters has the same. I can assure you he also has, he has a problem with anti-genocide protesters. He has a problem with pride flags because he's a hateful bigot.
Move to the U.S. with significant investment, sure, but annual U.S. physical video game software spending is now half what it was in 2021 and declining rapidly. And this also wouldn't help when it comes to costs. Not a good combo to...
Yeah, the true tragedy of the Trump administration is the higher prices of video games. Let me tell you, okay? Maybe gamers are the most oppressed class.
Identifies that investment, in my opinion. So, if you think it's important to have physical media, physical games, because we all know digitally, we don't actually own anything digitally. Those companies control all that infrastructure, all those servers. Then I imagine this will annoy people, especially those that are vocal Trump supporters who are gamers. But You never know with those weirdos.
My Jetta was built in Mexico. Good car. Trump has a problem with anything that isn't himself. True. I love Jettas. I like the old Jettas.
So, let's get to, again, it's a very weird transition here. But here we go. The Jerusalem Post sharing this. IDF launches Operation Iron Wall against Palestinian terror in Jenin as PA exits. So this gets to what I've been talking about, what I was talking about leading up to the election. I'll get to the headline in a second. But essentially,
this isn't just a home. It's a mountain retreat that radiates positive energy. And
what?
This temporary ceasefire, as is understood by Netanyahu and as Trump confirmed yesterday, this is a temporary ceasefire. It's not a full-on ceasefire. Heidi Matthews sharing here, Israel has launched Operation Iron Wall in the West Bank's Jenin on day 2 of Trump's presidency. It is named for a 1923 essay, The Iron Wall. Here's an extract. Zionist colonization can proceed and develop only behind an iron wall. So there's clearly an intention here to take over the West Bank. UN human rights account here writing, they are alarmed by a wave of renewed violence perpetrated by settlers and Israeli security forces in the occupied West Bank, coinciding with the implementation of the Gaza ceasefire agreement and the release of hostages and detainees. This has been accompanied by increased restrictions on Palestinians' freedom of movement across the West Bank, including complete closure of some checkpoints and installation of new gates, effectively confining entire communities. This report from back in June is one that I had consistently highlighted leading up to the election. Pro-Israel billionaire Miriam Adelson backs Trump campaign, pushes for West Bank annexation. Trump is simply a vessel for the interests of billionaires, be it tech bros, be it people like Miriam Adelson, where their issue is Israel dominating Palestinians. So this news that this is now happening is not surprising if you've been following Trump and what he actually cares about, which is nothing but money and serving those that give him money.
Yep.
I want to end on a high note, but here we are. This is day one. I'm going to be honest. It's impossible for me to cover every single thing that is going to come out of this administration. I am one person. My focus, as well as a Canadian, is going to be largely on Canada leading up to the next election and how this potentially impacts how Trump administration is going to impact Canada as well. So I'm going to be, a little all over the place in terms of what I cover and what I think I can add in terms of commentary. But I just thought it was important on day one to sort of lay out the big issues immediately that have come out of this new administration and likely the focus of what is going to be an insane 4 years at least.
Whew. Strap in, everybody. The ride that nobody here asked for is about to has started. I'm ending every day on a high note with my bong. Ha! My consumption is up. Line go up. Same. Puff, pass. Strap in, everybody. The ride that nobody wanted is starting. It's gonna suck, let me tell you. Almost double, no joke. I mean, can't say I blame you. Well, at least we're all effed in this one together because Trump will make it everyone's problem talk about a uniting force. Seriously. I mean, I would rather, sit and kumbaya without, fascism, but, here we are. I mean, Trump's a pretty transactional president. Israel provides a lot of tech security and funding. So from a purely democratic and capitalist standpoint, I think that's why Trump likes Israel. Well, no, I don't know about democratic. It seems like just from a looking out for himself point of view. Yeah, this is just character development. Yeah, there you go. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. It is just about 7 a.m. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. I appreciate your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Thank you for the subscriptions, follows, and all that awesome stuff. Thank you. If you want to continue to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Keep liking the stream on the YouTube. I see you, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for liking the stream. Subscribe on the YouTube. Subscribe on the Substack, folks. New articles should be posted today, today or tomorrow. I'll see how fast I can finish putting in any other little tidbits here and there. So subscribe to the Substack. It's free. And join the Discord, folks. Join. It's the best way to keep up with the channel and hang out with some awesome people. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. Oh, yes. Also, check out the merch store, folks. Check out the merch store and hit !tip if you want to tip directly. But yes, check out the merch store. Thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow about 5 p.m. Eastern time. Spread the word far and wide that we are one of the chillest places to be for the news and politics. Thank you all. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. If anyone wants to watch shows or something tonight, go to the Discord. Okay. Thank you. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye. Great job. Thank you. Look at that. We had 0 tech issues. I almost couldn't believe it myself. No trolls either, thankfully. We have to deal with a couple of trolls in the majority report. Yeah, they're too busy sniffing their own farts, thankfully. All right, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.